All right, what's going on, fam? I'm back. As you can see, it might look a little bit different. I have a microphone and a camera that I actually used on my channel when this was a Minecraft channel. Um, and yeah, I just am excited to use it. So I kind of want to just yap a little bit and put this to the test, see if it works, see if it's good quality. Um, it probably won't be, but we can figure that out after the video is recorded. So it is extremely hot today. We got a heat wave in LA. I got a calm little summer fit going. Um, and yeah, I think today's video is going to be on. I haven't even thought of this yet, honestly. Today's video is going to be maintaining your sense of self and dependency and independency when you. So this is. Let me just preface this by saying this video is catered to men and men only. If you're a woman, please click off. This is not for you. This is strictly for the gentleman out here. I think advice goes different ways. I don't even know if this is advice, but I think different things apply for the ladies. So if you're a lady, click off. We're going to talk about, as a man, maintaining your sense of self when you're in a relationship and maintaining your independence. Um, and I think the reason I feel so passionate about this is because I'm going to be completely honest. I have severe issues with this myself, so I'm not claiming to be on any high horse whatsoever. I'm going to address. I may not be the best person to speak about this, but this is just as much for you guys as it is for me. I hope I can look back at this one day and like remind myself not to, you know, when it comes in handy. So I think as men, a lot of times we get to a place where we get into a relationship and a lot of the a lot of what we do is outsource to the other person in the relationship, right? So when it comes to anything, we have a bad habit of just outsourcing literally everything to someone else in a relationship when at the end of the day, keeping in the mind that everything is fleeting to some degree, it is part of one of the biggest reasons why men tend to handle breakups and separations so much harder. And I'm very passionate about this because I've seen time after time after time after time after time after time, and myself included, uh, men getting ruined by women. No, I'm not going to say getting ruined by women, by relationships and their own habits and the things that they've, uh, gotten accustomed to within a relationship. Um, and so this applies to men of all ages, of all experience levels. This equally applies to married men as it does to people that are just starting to date. Um, and I don't want to say, like, if you're in a relationship, wonderful. This is not to say don't be in a relationship. Like, don't. I'm not trying to say like be single, whatever the case is. So what I'm trying to say is when you are in the relationship, you you're almost naturally inclined to outsource, like I said, outsource everything to this other person that you are in a relationship with, right? When it comes to emotional support, social support, um, validation, it could sometimes even be financial, whatever the case may be. I think gentlemen are usually better at maintaining financial independence and things like that. But as a man, we almost have no choice but to maintain independence, right? Because let's keep in mind the idea that everything's fleeting, right? And I'm not going to say this in a pessimistic way whatsoever, right? This could be taken pessimistic as well, but at the end of the day, like, we're human. So even if the relationship is completely successful, everything you do everything right, um, we are human. Life does not last forever, right? So at some point things are going to come to an end, whether we like it or not. Um, and it's sort of a tough pill to swallow. But if your goal is to maximize, how do I say this? If your goal is to maximize the relationship and the length of it and the success and the chances of success, then as much as your significant other might tell you to outsource things to them, they might tell you that they want to hear all your concerns, everything that might bother you, all your worries, things like this. You really are not allowed to. Like, I'm not saying that you shouldn't. You are literally not allowed to. You should not be outsourcing anything to your significant other. Um, and I thought of this a little bit because of the conversation in the last video that we had. I think the context of the conversation in the last video was that you have no choice but to be strong, right? And if you are not being strong, then you're going to force someone else to be strong, and no one wants to be in a position where they feel like they have to be strong, right? So, as a man, first and foremost, finances. I think everyone is very aware of this. If you are maintaining your independence financially and you come from a place of abundance, then you're able to provide for your significant other, and that's going to be something that people are drawn to no matter what, right? So, who am I to say I'm pretty broke? I completely understand this. But once again, I'm learning from my own mistakes. I am literally wearing a $1 pair of overalls right now and a wife beater. So, um, when I say you can't outsource anything, this means validation, this means emotional support, this means social support, because I know a lot of the times, myself included, when you get into a relationship, you get comfortable and you start wanting to go out less, right? You start wanting to foster the relationships with your boys less. Um, and so not only is that a major turnoff to women, which is what I've realized, um, this is also will set you down a very dangerous path, right? Um, and so you want to maintain your sense of self, not only so that you bring your best sense of self to the relationship, but to also protect yourself, that almost like an insurance policy if, God forbid, shit hits the fan. So when I talk about emotional support, this is another like tricky topic. I know a lot of times that you will be encouraged by your significant other to, you know, tell them all your worries and, you know, lay it all on them. And as much as they can be your rock, they're not your therapist. So I if you're someone that has difficulty with like holding in, no, you should never like hold in your feelings. But if you have a problem with expressing yourself, then you need to find an outlet that's going to serve you best, right? And so a lot of people have different outlets, whether that's journaling, whether that's talking to your boys about it. I think talking to your boys is probably number one, because even when I say outsource to your therapist is getting paid for it, right? And your therapist is there like for an hour a week. So even then, who knows? Your therapist can go on vacation, can drop dead and die. Again, things are fleeting. So you need to build a network where you approach everything with abundance, and that your social support and your emotional support should come from a place of abundance as well, right? And that's what's going to be able to make you someone that can provide that for someone. That's going to make you the provider, right? More than just financially. I think everyone talks about finances and money and paying for dates and stuff like that. Beyond all that, right? So this is why I'm very proud to say I'm an API. I'm beyond happy with my brothers, and I don't know if that's the word, but just excited that they're in my life, right? Um, Everyone that I've met has been literally a brother. These are the people that are going to be at my wedding, um, and these are the people that. This is why it's so valuable. You know, I have them in times of need when shit has hit the fan. My bros come knocking on my door and say, "Let's get you out of here. Let's go change your air a little bit." And that's something money can never buy. Um, and so when something happens with them, I want to always be there for them, of course. So things like this are when people say like, "Oh yeah, all it takes is being rich and jacked or whatever, just rich." There's some things like this that money will not solve. And so having your support system, having your strong group of boys is absolutely mando, right? And a lot of the times people that tend to outsource like this will also latch on to like one best friend. I think it's super important to have a group of homies, right? And it doesn't necessarily have to be that not everyone needs to be connected as long as you have multiple people because people have lives too, people have their own experiences, people can't always cater to you, right? So the more abundance you have with that, the more support you'll feel and the more support you're going to be able to provide. So excuse my voice, I don't know why I'm just have no voice today. um, but yeah, that's emotional support, social support. When I talk about validation, it's a human need, people need to be validated. You should not be relying. This is really tricky. This is really tricky to approach, but you should not be relying on your woman to validate you in every way, right? You should have the mentality that if she didn't exist, you would get validation in other ways, right? And so people, I saw this thing someone liked on Instagram. J Ross liked this. I'm gonna name drop. Sorry. He's like, I've tried. I don't know what the exact post was, but it's like I've tried validation from women. I've tried validation from this, that, and I've tried academic validation. Nothing beats academic validation, right? If that's what works for you, that's what works. If you get validated through grades and success in that way, then you have no choice but to maintain that. So if you're someone that are very insecure or ego driven or narcissistic, whatever the case may be, and you want to be validated for your body, then you need to have the mentality that if shit hits the fan, you can walk out, go to the gym next day, and put on a fit, and you're going to get the same amount of validation. It's not going to all just come from your woman. And so this is going to give you a sense of, once again, this is going to give you a sense of abundance that you can bring to the relationship that is just this is not worth any amount of money. And so I think another absolute non-negotiable before a relationship is to have your spiritual life down. Um, you have to build a connection with whatever higher power. If you're atheist, so be it. Understanding the laws of the universe. I've said this so many times. This is why when I was a kid, I used to like idolize XXXTentacion because he was so young, yet he understood the laws of the universe and he was so spiritually mature. So you gotta have that down. Have a connection with your creator, whatever validates you and whatever supports you in that way. And so this is what I mean by having independence when you approach a relationship. You should, whether you're just starting to date someone or you've been dating this person for years and years and years and years, like there should never be a point where this person provides every ounce of support in all these different ways, whether it's validation to boost your ego, whatever the case may be, or social support, or emotional support, or financial support. As men, we have no choice but to come and approach things with a place of abundance. And so this is just going to make you an overall more magnetic person and make you more resilient in general, right? And yeah, I think that's all I have for now. I hope this was good quality. We're going to see in the video, in the edits, once I chop it up a little bit. This is a Blue Yeti microphone that I would use when I was making Minecraft videos. Once again, I miss those days a lot. Um, And yeah, that's another thing. Like if you enjoy video games for your own like just sense of chilling, like I remember the first relationship I got into, I owned a Minecraft server and I was obsessed with Minecraft. I was really good at it. I did all this stuff. The day I got into a relationship was the last day I ever played. And so, or I think the day before I got into a relationship was the last day I ever played. When you get into a relationship, you should never ever drastically change your life um, in any way. So keep hanging out with your homies, keep feeding those connections, keep feeding your hobbies, and getting your own, keeping your sense of self. And yeah, if you feel like you're in a relationship and you're way too far in the deep end, it's not too late to begin implementing this and maintaining a sense of independence yourself, and creating that independence. Um, it might make things, it might be weird for your significant other at first, but when they realize, like at the end of the day, you're just becoming a more whole person for them, there should be no problem. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will catch you guys in another video.